Okay, so did you guess what the new product is? We put a little sneak peek. We have, as a new addition for your craft room, a crystalart waste paper bin. This is so much fun, and the kit is really detailed as well. It's a huge canvas for you to crystal art, and then obviously you've got something functional to use as well. So we've got the waste paper basket. So I've got one finished here because I'm going to, well, the canvas is finished, I'm going to construct it with you because you get so much in the kit. So I'm going to keep this aside for a moment. Now it actually even has like a white clean surface on the inside. Obviously you could line it with a carrier bag, or of course a little bin bag, but I think this is going to be just fabulous to be able to put into your craft room. So lots of new materials in here, but I'm going to take you through absolutely everything. So you've got the base of the bin, so it's got a nice rigid support base. You've got 2 reels of double-sided sticky tape. You've also got a reel of decorative tape. You've got some binding to go around the top of it. So this isn't just, you know, knock it together at home, easy peasies. This is proper professional. You also have the top and the bottom rings for it. You've got the acetate, which is going to go on the inside as your little white clean surface. You've also got all of your crystals to be able to finish it up. And then, of course, you have your enormous, just keeps going, your enormous paisley canvas to be able to embellish as well. And the terms of the canvas is actually 25 by 27 centimetres when it's finished. So that's like your height and your diameter. But of course, the canvas itself, look at this, it's really lovely. Gorgeous paisley, you've got lovely floral little details in there as well, and I'll show you the one that's finished. Now, it does come as always with the protective layer over the top. It's on a really sturdy canvas, protective layer, and anywhere that you're going to pop your crystals on, of course, is already glued as well. Look at this when the pattern is actually finished. Really beautiful design. You've got gorgeous crystals in here as well that are really big. So what you'll notice is that I've already cut mine out because I'm going to do all of the construction with you tonight. Okay, so this one has been embellished, and of course when we finish, we're going to end up, like I said, with a really great size bin. So 25 by 27 centimetres. And as you can see, I've already cut mine out. I'm going to do a little bit with you as well. So you'll see that you're going to cut off any of the white waste around the outside. You've got little slits to cut up at the top and at the bottom as well, because we're going to roll this around those 2 hoops that I showed you. Okay, so I'm going to turn you down a little bit. You'll see that I've done all my little notches up at the top, and because it's canvas, it's so easy to work with and to manipulate. I'm going to do just, I've left 3 on either side so that you can see. I'm just going along each of the dotted lines. Those little sections will cut out, and you can just about see it on the camera, I think. You have a very faint line running along the top of those as well, so you know just how deep to go into, but it's all on a little dotted line, so you know exactly where to go. And this is so that when we start constructing it, we can fold the fabric over, and it's going to give us a lovely curve. Okay, so that is the canvas for my bin, totally prepped. So really nice and simple. Okay, now I would thoroughly recommend that you use the crystalart sealer on your bin before you start working with it, because obviously it's not going to be handled so much afterwards, but you're going to empty it all the time. You're going to be picking it up. I would make sure that you seal these crystals on with your crystalart sealer. Do have a little look back on the Facebook page. There are plenty videos showing you how to use it. But what the sealer will do is cement your crystals on, and then you can use this bin as much as you like and not have to worry. Okay, so you will also get the acetate in your kit. I can't believe how intricate this kit is. It's amazing. Now this has a sticky surface as well. So you've got the little tab to remove this, and then we're going to attach this onto our canvas. So on the reverse side. So I'm just going to pop this on. Now it is exactly the same shape as your canvas. I'm just going to bring you down so you can see these little markers. All I want to make sure I do is line up the edge with a nice straight line, but I want to make sure that I'm up to the markers on my triangles and also to my little slits along the bottom. A little bit wonky. So you can see I've only peeled back enough to see the little area that I'm working on. And once you get the first few lined up, we'll be good to go. That's looking good. So lined up all my markers along the top, straight down the edge, and that way I know that it's going to be, fingers crossed. Yeah, look at how this is lining up perfectly. And all I'm doing is removing the backing as I work along the canvas. So I'm just pushing it down as I go, making sure there's no creases. And again, if you've already sealed, going a little bit higher here, just going to nudge that down a bit. If you have already sealed your crystals, then that's really going to help as well. Now I'm just going to move this down ever so slightly. You could even, if you wanted to, if it would help you, don't get stressed with it. But if it would help, you could leave cutting in these markers until you've already put the acetate sheet on. You could maybe do the beginning too, and that will help you get lined up. And now I've got my nice rigid, well, I'm going to lift you back up. I couldn't do this on a multiple one because my phone doesn't go high enough. So now you've got your nice rigid base, white clean inside. So if you're putting any of your inky tissues in there and whatever else, that's going to keep you good. Okay, so setup number 2, the small loop. So you have a large loop for the top, small loop for the bottom. So we're going to start off with the base, and we've got our double-sided sticky tape. So this is going to go around our loop, and this is going to attach all of the canvas onto it. So I'm just bringing out a little bit of the tape and going all the way around first of all. No need to cut any slots in this one because it will stick on. I'm doing it about halfway along the loop itself. Okay, so I've gone all the way along, all the way around that base. Okay, so I'm just removing the backing from my double-sided tape. There we go. So my double-sided tape, it keeps peeling off a layer of the paper. So what you do is just, I'll reattach on a bit of this one in a moment. Let's take off this bit that frayed a little bit. If you cut it at an angle, stick that bit down and then give it a little pull. And what you're doing is pulling the gum away from the paper. And that way, it's then going to give you the break of the seal between the paper and the glue. So you see like where the paper was sticking on? So just give it a little pull and then that will come away. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this until we attach it on. Okay, so I'm starting at the base of the bin, which is the thinner side. And I'm just going to start, let's start on this side. Let me put that back on so I don't get too muddled. I'm going to start on the very edge of my acetate. And as I go, I'm just going to take a little bit off. So I've got a tiny bit that I need to replace in a moment for the bit that I've taken off. And I'm just rolling along. And you can see that it's taking the fabric with it, which is going to start constructing the bin. And if you lean your loop a little bit more towards you, so I haven't got it flat, I've got it on an angle leaning towards me, you will then get the lovely angle that you need. Now, what we'll do is at the base, we're going to fold this up and over. Now, you could also put an extra strip of double-sided tape along the inside of the bin if it's not sticking on. So I'll show you that in a moment as well. So I've got half of it up. I'm going to go for an extra bit. Now on the base, the the base of the bin, the actual wooden base, is going to keep all of that fabric hidden. On the top, we actually also have a bit of binding that will hide all of that inside as well. So all of this is like extra security, if you like. But I just want it to be really nice and neat so that it doesn't get caught on the base. Come on, tape. Again, I've just cut a little angle and I'm going to remove this bit. Let's pop this in as we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm pulling off the tape, rolling it through and sticking on. Now, where they both join on the edges, so you'll see I'm just leaning it towards me to make sure I can get right outside that acetate and bring all of this up. Where the two edges are going to join, I've also got some nice decorative tape for that as well. We'll bring this last bit in. So when we stand this up, it is so satisfying, isn't it? Can you see that none of those slits have come over the top? You've got that lovely base. I'm just going to add on that last little bit of my tape that I cut off. And then we can put the inside in as well. If you do have any trouble getting that paper off, just cut it at a little angle. Okay, let's get that last little bit in. And we'll fold those over as well. Okay, now I'm going to pop my base in as well to keep all of that fabric nice and secure. So I'm just going to insert the base. Now remember that your acetate is actually lining the inside, so it should also be wiped clean for you. You could always put something on top of that little wooden base as well. Your decorative tape. Now I'm actually going to do this before I seal on the top, just about halfway, because what I don't want to do is for this seam to keep on coming open and therefore these don't join. So I already know that the base is nice and secure. So I'm going to use the decorative tape, which is a nice purple. Okay, I'm just going to seal this in. Now I'm not going to seal it all the way to the top because I want to make sure that my edges line up. So all I'm doing is a little marker to hold that into place. Because if my circle, if I make it too tight, my ring isn't going to fit in along the top. And then you've got your big loops as well. So we'll go for, I wonder if I've still got enough double-sided on here. Let's try. So double-sided, cut at an angle so that I've got that tip. So I've run out of my tape on this one. So to save me faffing about, I'm just going to add on my next one as well. And I'm going to make sure that I don't go over the join. I'm going to make sure I don't go over that join until the very last moment. Okay, so I'm going to start on the inside edge of that crease. Get out of the way. Inside edge of the crease, we'll pop that down on there. So can you see how I've got that inside the acetate and away from the edge? So those little nodules, I'm just rolling it around, making sure, again, angle it more towards you if you find that you're going too near the slits. all the way around. And we do have binding to go on the top of this as well. So if you are worried about any of those slots going on the outside and being visible, don't worry, because we're going to cover it up. Push that in a little bit more, all the way round. And now I can meet my join. And that way I can work out which one. So I'm going all the way from the base, making sure the same one that's on top will also be on the top here. Overlap them over so that I can make sure I get the same finish. Now this tape that I put on the outside, I'm going to remove that. Now I'm going to seal this up with the decorative tape, and I'm going to overlap it top to bottom. So I'm just going to make sure that I go over the outside fabric first, and then I'm going to push that down, and then that's that all sealed up. So that's the back of your bin. At least you know it's nice and purple, so it matches in colour. I've made my scissors all sticky. And we'll seal that in at the bottom as well. And then back up to the top. I'm going to fold over these edges. Now on a couple of places you can just about see my cuts, like I was saying to you earlier, but we've also got binding to go over the top as well. Now, to make sure that your top stays all nice and stuck down, I didn't put an extra ring of what do you call it, double-sided on this one. I just put on the one on the loop. So now your binding that will cover the top has like a little lip running through it, and it will cover up, seal all of that fabric, any visible slits. It's a very professional finish. There we go. Simple to construct. So all I made sure as well is that my binding also started at the back of the bin so that you can hide that. And then you've got your lovely waste paper bin. So you could always colour the inside. You could run that decorative tape down the inside as well. You could, I've gone a little bit over so you can see it, but if you were to trim that a little bit shorter, of course it wouldn't go in there and you'd have a nice finish. But isn't it fab? I can't wait to see them all in your craft rooms.